Good evening. This is Tisha McDonald here, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
And this is Tanika Gillard. I am naturally yours.
Nikki, how was your day? You had a busy day.
Oh, it was a good day overall, but just rushing at the end of the day just to make sure that I was here on time for you guys. But y'all know how it is. I work, and then come home and still work. But it's all good. No complaints.
Okay. Today was a good day for me. I did my live a little bit earlier about my journey, and I did go walking after that live. I went walking, had a good little walk. My streets are dangerous, Nikki. My streets are dangerous. There's no
Really?
sidewalks. So I told my
Um,
daughter, when you get past the point, you can't walk anymore. So
okay.
yeah, so I ended
Well,
up taking a long way home just to make sure I got enough of my walk in. But anyway, guys, last week we talked about the movie Coming to America, and there was some strong opinions, and we actually had to cut it and make it two parts. So this is part two, and we're gonna pick up with LP where we left off. And I want to say thank you to LP for joining us again this week. And I am gonna put them on right now.
all right.
Good evening, LP. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent, doing well, doing well. Grateful for the opportunity to hang out with you all.
We love when you're on. We love when you're on. So let's jump right in. You had the slide that we were going to start from, and we're just going to get into it because last week it was an hour's conversation, which is half of the movie time. And so we're going to get into the second hour or so, and let's do it. I'm ready.
Well, I mean,
Share your screen.
is there anything that y'all wanted to deal with as far as with from a recap of our
Recap.
first, yeah, anything that y'all
Uh,
wanted to briefly deal with
I'm going to
before we
say for the recap, catch the replay.
that's what I was going to say.
But no, just to recap, because I understand what LP is saying.
Yes, yes.
A lot of times we go to the movies just for entertainment purposes. And we even watch TV shows, listen to music just for entertainment. We don't listen to the real message behind it. We don't look for the secret coding or the subliminal messages that are in the news, like in the media. We was talking about that again today. That's in the music, because you see what they want you to see. They put out what they want to put out for us. So when you went to see Coming to America 2, you probably went and said, oh, it's Eddie Murphy's back and we're going to see this movie again. It was so good back in the day. Let's relive 30 years ago by catching Coming to America Part 2. But LP brought to light that it has changed from 30 years ago to now, and the quality may not be the same as what we remember from 30 years ago. The message that was being portrayed in the movie this time was much different than it was 30 years ago. And so we need to look at that and look at it in the context of today instead of, the past 30 years.
And mind you, Taniko, 30 years ago, we were 18. 30 years ago, we were 18. And I don't even recall, we weren't even allowed to see that movie. I didn't see that movie until later, maybe in my 20s. Ma wasn't having that. So, yes, LP, we were not moviegoers. We did not see that movie in theaters or nothing like that. I think it was a couple years or a few years after. And I never even got the jokes of Soul Glow and all of that because we weren't allowed to see that. We weren't. It was a lot of movies that we
wow.
were not allowed to see, especially horror films. My mom was very protective of what we put in our spirit, as she says. We couldn't see Jumanji when that first came out because it was Ouija board. So when Coming to America first came out, we didn't even see that movie. I was a
Wow.
full adult before seeing that movie, even though I was 17 or 18 at the time that movie came out. All right, so now that we've
One
recapped,
more thing
and if
before we
you
get into it. Sorry, T. Sorry, LP. One more thing. I just want to say thank you guys for catching the replay because we get responses after when y'all catch the replay.
oh,
Sometimes y'all are just cooking in the kitchen or whatever, listening to us talk. So I just want to say thank you guys for catching the replay and responding and giving us feedback on the topics that we present to you guys. So LP, we're ready now for real. I'm sorry.
If you guys have anything to
Awesome,
say,
awesome.
type it in the comments. We will respond right away. Here we go.
Okay. Well, to kind of add on to some of the things that y'all were saying about this film versus the film that we watched back in the late '80s, um, as you brought to our attention the Soul Glow. Bless you, the Soul Glow.
Thank you.
Eddie Murphy was bringing attention to the idea of us not like, listen, man, we don't have to do this to our hair. You know what I'm saying? He was promoting the idea of, because a lot of people don't know, black people didn't even create the Jerry curl. That was created by white men. You know what I'm saying? And so, during that time, Ed was like, "Hey, let's wrap this up." You know what I'm saying? Let's be done with this. And that's why he was making fun of it in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And remember, I was talking about the barbers. You know what I'm saying? The barbers, yes, they were giving sound advice. You know what I'm saying? In part one. You know what I'm saying? You need no messy Jerry curl in your head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Well, it's this particular woman that I want to impress. Oh man, you got to do that for no woman. You want to get in good with a married woman, you get in good with her papa. You get in good with her papa, you home free. And they was all like, home free, like a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the barbers in part one. They all were giving sound advice. They were great sounding boards. They talked barbershop talk, but they were great sounding boards. In part two, they were horrible sounding boards. It was.
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
So we're looking at a difference. And so today's conversation in the barbershop is different than it was 30 years ago. It's similar, but different, I would say. If you look at the quality of relationships today, maybe, and that's where those conversations probably come. The dress is different for women today than it was 30 years ago. A little bit more, whatever, a little more free, more loose than it was maybe 30 years ago. Just the time has changed from 30 years to now. So maybe that's why the conversation has changed in the barbershop.
And also, like, fathers. We lost LP. Before, the men used to go to the fathers and ask permission, to date or to pursue the girl. Now, no girl is saying, "Oh, you got to ask my father." It's not the same respect like back in the day. Unless it's old school, the boys are not coming and asking to date your daughter. And I always say now, today, the boys don't have to be worried about my husband. The boys better be worried about me when it comes to my daughter. Even though, of course, dad is definitely in the picture. Dad is definitely going to have his things to say. But, I'm like, and I don't want to take away from my husband's responsibility. But, sometimes, of course, a mom is going to see something pass, but a dad is going to see straight through the boy as well. So I could take it from a female point of view. And of course, the husband is there to take it from a male point, or the father, or is there to take it from their point of view. If a guy is good or not for their daughter. Go ahead, LP.
No doubt. I agree. So we can jump right back into it from where we left off. Let me go ahead and get this together.
Hey y'all, so y'all get to see the before right here, and then you see the after with Tisha. Yes, this is the twinness, and this is the before right here without the makeup, and that's the after over there. Anyway, LP, we're ready. I was just waiting for you to get it together.
So we arrive here, the final test for his worthiness of, as far as with being the Prince of Zamunda, a test that they didn't bring to his attention until now, and it's ceremonial circumcision.
Ah.
And in this scene, they brought to his attention all of the foreskins of the previous princes and kings of Zamunda, and you know, just he's holding the foreskins up, you know, literally showing this is the foreskin for this one, this is the foreskin for this one, and this is the foreskin for a king. You know what I'm saying? And it's this big, huge foreskin, and they like, you know, just doing this whole play on, you know, just looking at penises. You know what I'm saying? Penis stuff. And so this is a public ceremonial circumcision, so to speak. And so he was asked to take his member out and put it in that little thing that we see right there, as the guy swings a blade and he don't actually cut, you know, the guy's, you know, member. He cut something else, and you know, and they like, you know, why would you do this? And they like, well, you know, the final test is if you're willing to sacrifice your most prized possession, then you're worthy of being the Prince of Zamunda, you know. And it goes back to the whole. You remember I told y'all what we saw in this movie was constantly emasculation and castration, and this symbolic public spectacle of putting his member in this thing in front of everybody. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just psychological, just everything is about castration and emasculation. You know what I'm saying? And so afterwards, everybody's laughing, ha 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 ha, and the guy passes out, right? So that was that with that scene. Now, a lot of people gonna get off board with me on this particular part right here, but this is just something that I observed, right? So everybody knows this right here is his barber, right? And she was attempting to help him to be the Prince of Zamunda, telling him all of the, not in this particular scene, but before, she was telling him the line that he came, she was trying to tell him, hey, look, this is the stock that you come from. You are of royalty. You are of royal blood, you know, this, that, and the other. And he shut that down and was like, no, I'm from a line of nobodies. I'm nothing. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to even be here. You know, this, that, and the other. And she used to respond in and said, okay, well, I tell you what, don't be the Prince of Zamunda. Be the Prince of Queens. And he like, yeah, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. And that's when he resorted back to his, you know, he went back to Queens and went and got his uncle, the same uncle who, you know, cared less about him getting an actual job, trying to discourage him from getting a job, cared less about his birthday, didn't even know that he was in his 30s. At his birthday party, he had beer to drink, but he didn't have enough money to purchase candles for his cake. But this was the guy that he went back to America and brought back to Zamunda. And so, you know, all that other stuff played out. But anyway, in this particular scene right here, she spent a large amount of time attempting to connect with him by bringing to him, you know, her understanding of American theater and American cinema, and just talking about a whole bunch of American stuff. And in the midst of that, there was a connection made right there. And then she brought to his attention, hey, but one thing I do like about America that I have a problem with here in Zamunda is that, you know, women don't get opportunities. We can't even own a business here in Zamunda. You know, boom, appeal to emotion. She got it. Well, if I was to be in charge, you know, things would be different. And she, well, all of the other great men of Zamunda promised these things, but they didn't make any changes. Boom, appeal to emotion. Got it. These are lies because, you know, from a psychological aspect of us watching, you know what I'm saying, the appeal to emotion, you know, we're like, oh man, that's messed up. Okay, but they're in Africa, right? In Africa, women have been able to accomplish extremely amazing things. There's female presidents in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's like the wealthiest woman in the world is in Africa.
Yes, she is.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's like, you know, like so like that right there, that no, that's not gonna fly. But all of these things appeal to emotion. She got him, and he fell head over heels for this woman in the midst of this, right? Now she know he's supposed to be getting prepared to marry the queen, but she had some other, and she finessed him. She got him. You know what I'm saying? She got him. And so right then and there, he didn't fell in love with her. He didn't kiss the girl, you know, and she, oh well, you know. Next thing you know it, got him.
Well, LP,
Okay.
I have to disagree.
Now we got commentary. Okay.
Uh-uh.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
She did appeal to his, you know, but I believe it was coming from a place of the original king.
Uh-huh.
We're not talking about Africa today. We're talking about, because they're taking it from 30 years ago. So she's saying like nothing has changed for us in these 30 years. The king was supposed to, I don't know, whatever, advance us, and women still are not allowed to have their own. If you're taking it from Coming to America 1, we're not talking about Africa. But if you're taking it from Coming to America 1, you know, nothing has changed. So women still weren't allowed to have their own businesses or whatever. And so that's what she was saying. Like the next king should have progressed. Like they should have progressed, but they haven't progressed. So I don't think that she was playing on Africa today. You know.
No. I was dealing with the fact of, you know, from a commentary standpoint.
Yes.
As far as what the imagery does to the person who's watching the movie.
That's
you
true.
See what I'm saying? I'm not, you know, it's kind of like we're in it's like a duality thing. You know what I'm saying? The commentary that I'm providing. I'm providing commentary based off of the movie as well as an
Real
individual who's watching. You know what I'm saying? The watcher and how they are impacted by what they're observing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I agree with you. However, but we have to have integrity with the movie also, because you got to understand, think about it. Part 1, it was against the law of Zamunda for the prince to marry an American woman.
Mm-hmm.
But based off of the influence of the divine feminine that came from the mother, she brought back to his attention, you can change things because you are the king. Mm-hmm. And what did he do?
He changed it.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? That goes back to what I'm going to talk about later, pertaining to the divine feminine and how it has the capability of changing things. All right?
Okay, because I was getting ready to say that part of the movie didn't change. That divine femininity that didn't change the fact that the women still weren't able to get their own jobs.
I agree. But I'm saying things were changed. You know what I'm saying? The lady said nothing, that, you know, these promises, but nothing changes. You know what I'm saying? That's not true. You know what I'm saying? That was a major change that took place. You know what I'm saying? For him.
And then the other thing, it was something else you said about she knew he was about to marry the queen over there, et cetera, et cetera. But the same thing kind of happened in part 1. You know, you saw that they had chemistry from before. You know, throughout the movie, you could see that there was a chemistry between those two. And like in part 1, where she said, whatever you like. So that was the same thing in this one. And he didn't want a woman that was whatever you like, whatever, you know what I mean?
We're going to deal with that. I want to deal with it. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm about to talk about that right now. Did you have anything else you wanted to address, or you good?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving forward, here we are, the scene where the queen is brought to him again, right? So it's that time, you know what I'm saying? Wesley, General Izzy brought his daughter. You know, here you go. You know what I'm saying? He turned around, look at Dad. Dad look at him with the look of approval. Hey, get her. So boom, he didn't win. and went to her and was like, hey, so you know, what's up? And then she didn't brought to his attention, you know, whatever you like, you know, whatever you know what I'm saying? And he just like, no, this ain't no. This ain't it right here. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't feeling that at all. You know what I mean? But if you can remember the statement that he made when he was talking to his barber about all of the things that were being presented to him, he's like, man, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve any of this. This goes back to how a lot of times, now I understand Akeem did this, but I'm talking about in the context of this particular situation based off of his behavior and comparing it to a lot of the behaviors that you see. I have talked to men who have sabotaged great relationships with great women who were a good fit for them, that was willing to be everything for him. And he will self-sabotage this relationship with the good woman to go over here with that pocket. And this all goes back to self-sabotage based off of man,
Yeah.
she good to me. She do this. I don't deserve that, man. I don't deserve that. I mean, I listen to men say things like this, and even if they don't say it out of their mouth,
Right.
their behavior of self-sabotage, bro. What are you doing, bro? I have to tell men all the time, bro. Go home, bro. Go home. Man, you right, man. You right. But honestly, they feel like they don't deserve what they got. I see this happen all the time. This is a reality. And that's basically what I felt in this particular situation. Again, I know that Akeem did this, but in this situation, it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? The sister who was trying to challenge him to level up, he didn't want to level up. So you know what she did? She matched his energy. She matched his energy. And everything that she said to him was everything that he wanted to hear. And that was, don't level up. You ain't got to do all this royalty stuff, bro. You ain't got to learn how to walk correctly. You ain't got to do, take it back to Queens. Take it back to that. That situation. Don't level up. Take it back to that. And that's what he did. And I believe that was an issue. I'm getting frustrated because it's all too common. I see this happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? You see guys like, bro, that woman that you're dealing with right now, bro, you know what I'm saying? She just challenging you to level up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And this is, bro, when I met my wife, she challenged me to level up. The first gift she gave me was a book. The second gift she gave me was a book. The third gift she gave me was a book. You see what I'm saying? Like my wife she introduced me to John C. Maxwell. She introduced me to personal development material.
Yes.
She introduced me to leadership. You know what I'm saying? 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. My wife introduced me to that. Napoleon Hill. My wife introduced me to that. You see what I'm saying? She seen that I was a big dreamer. She bought me the book, The Dream Giver. You see what I'm saying? Like she was constantly challenging me to level up.
Right.
Okay, let's pause there. This is a business break. If you heard what LP just said, his wife challenged him to level up. What he just gave you was some business, and that's what I'm getting ready to say now. Some business books that we have read. My sister and I have read. Maxwell, that's like everybody anybody who wants to be successful needs to read his books. He has some awesome books. So that's just a business tip. If you want to know something, you better start reading.
That's right.
Because if they're not going to tell you these things, and I had a former employee, and we were talking about taxes or something. I don't even know what we were talking about, but I believe it was something on those lines. And she said, "Why didn't they tell me that?" And I said, "They're not going to tell you This
Right.
is something that you have to read. They're not going to tell you everything. If you're going to be a business owner, you better start reading things for yourself and learning
That's
things
right.
for yourself. And again, I go back to self-development. You should spend 3 to 10% of whatever you earn, your yearly income, 3 to 10% should go toward you personally developing, whether it's going to seminars, whether it's getting books, whether it's paying for webinars, whatever it's going to be. So LP, thank you for that business tip. There you go. The twinness. Back to the movie. I'm sorry. Go
One
ahead.
one
No,
moment. One
no,
moment.
no doubt.
We're going to add on to that. Of course, we love to read books, but now you don't even have to read. You could just play it on YouTube and listen. If you're in your car, I do a lot of that because I'm in my car so much. But not only that, we are getting PPP loans. We are getting stimulus checks and things like that. So we need to invest in, again, seminars, workshops. Those are tax write-offs that you can get your money back at the end of the year. Marketing, things like that. So yes, use your money however you want to, but if you're a business owner, it would be good for you to invest back into yourself and, to develop better, even more. Okay, go
He
ahead,
says
LP.
knowledge is hidden in between the pages in a book. Knowledge is hidden.
And it's always been that way.
Absolutely. I tell people about this all the time. As if y'all didn't know, I'm an avid sneaker collector. So I have,
I know.
I got tons of Jordans and Air Max and all that other stuff. I'm talking about. I got sneakers on top of sneakers, right? I got a closet full of clothes, all that, right? But my bookshelf and my tapes and CDs of knowledge and information, the value with the bookshelf and my tapes and CDs and things of that nature is worth way more than everything that's in my closet. And I got
Awesome.
I got some expensive tennis shoes, right?
I got some books that I still need to read. I think I ordered like 4, and I read 1 out of the 4. So I have 3 more now to read, and there's 2 more that I want to purchase. So knowledge is power. Let's get back to this movie.
No doubt, no doubt. So anyway, like I was saying, that sister, you know what I'm saying, when she was challenging him to level up, he didn't want to. So she just went and matched his energy. Nah, just level down, bro. You know what I'm saying? Level down. And that's what he went to. But this right here, he didn't feel that he was even worthy of this. And a lot of times, back to what I was saying, a lot of men of today, they don't even feel that they worthy of the sister that they with. And they will self-sabotage. Okay, this right here, this burnt me up. This burnt me up. Okay, now, baby mama who showed up to Zamunda, and her first thing, grabbed the queen, hugged her, and said, "I'm sorry for having sex with your husband." That's the first interaction. Next interaction, I walk in with your dress on. Yeah, I got on your dress. Yeah, I went into your closet and I got your dress. And because the queen was like, that's my dress. She done looked at the queen's daughter and said, "Why your mama so bougie?" I said, "What is bougie? I am not bougie." Bougie B say what? Called her BITCH. Okay? Straight disrespect. So this is all she's got from the baby mama is disrespect, right? So she comes into this party, and the queen, okay, it's water under the bridge. I'm gonna give you a diamond necklace. This time I'm gonna reward your behavior and your poor behavior toward me. I'm gonna give you a diamond necklace, right? So I said, okay, thank you. This is what we finna do. I'm finna get you drunk. So now she gets the queen drunk. Right? So she got the queen wild, right? Queen acting up. Now, after this fiasco takes place and she get the queen drunk, guess what she did next? She took her son and took the royal jet and left.
Now the queen knew her position. She should not have been drinking. She is the queen. So she should have known her limits. You don't let somebody else get you drunk. Go ahead. But yes, she did. She did not need to reward her with that diamond necklace. And the reason they left was because he felt like, no, I don't belong here. I don't want to do this. This is
Right.
when, after he asked her, what do you
Right.
like to do? What do you, and she was like, whatever you like. You know,
Right.
he didn't want he didn't want somebody that didn't have their own mind. So he was
Right.
like, no, this is not for me. And that's how they ended up on, the plane back to New York or whatever.
Right. So I done got the queen drunk, and I done grabbed my son, and we done bounced. We done took the royal jet. Not. Hey, Dad, this is not gonna work out. I don't want to do this. I feel that this is not the right situation. I don't like the way this is done. So I believe it'll be best for me to just go ahead and go back to America. So I would appreciate if you were to put me and my family, me, my mother, and my lady, can you put us on the royal jet and take us back to America? Because this is not.
That's not the way that happened. He overheard the two kings talking, and he was like, so he didn't have, he was so upset. He was not going to say, "Yo, Dad," he wasn't going to come to him the way you just said it, because he overheard what they were saying, and basically Eddie's character was using his son, so he didn't want to hear that. He just wanted to be out of there.
Right. So just steal the royal jet. Get with my mom and just steal the royal jet.
But yeah, I don't agree with the stealing of the royal jet. But I was just saying, you got to put the whole thing in context for people like Tanika who haven't seen the movie.
Right. I haven't seen the movie.
I was about to deal with it. I was about to deal with it. I was giving an explanation of this scene right here.
I hadn't seen the movie, but what I'm gathering is that the lack of communication with Eddie Murphy and his father, now the lack of communication with Eddie Murphy and his son. So the fathers are not communicating with their children, and the children are not communicating back with the fathers. Thank you.
He's loving you right now, Nikki.
Non-biased person here. I have not seen the movie, so I'm just going off of what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. And that was a very, 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 very excellent explanation that you gave, sister. Thank you so very much. One more time.
He's clapping it up for you, Nikki. He's clapping it up for you.
No, but on a more serious tip. So in this particular scene, this is General Izzy coming to Akeem and saying, "Thank you for you getting your bastard and bringing him here in for the sake of our business that we got, and he was saying all these negative things. We're just using your son and blah blah blah. But Akeem is just kind of looking at him like, I mean, bro, it's like that, but it ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? But because of the way General Izzy was putting it out there, his son was in the back eavesdropping, listening. Now, his son's response. You remember I was talking about the issue of emotional intelligence?
Yeah.
Of being able to push past your emotions and handle situations. And you get what I'm saying? But whenever the emotional intelligence is not there, that's when we get into the place of, well, I'm just going to run. Right? This is an issue that we just went through in the barbershop. And it just, I feel so sorry for these young guys, man, because he had an appointment with one of the barbers and he was late for his appointment. So because he was late for his appointment, he was like 20 minutes late for his appointment. So the barber moved on to his next client. And so he was just sitting there like, well, can somebody cut my hair? And so I'm sitting there, I'm booked. So he's sitting there looking at me like, hey man, can you cut my hair? I was like, look, this is what we can do, man. I got some openings on tomorrow. Let me give you, I can text you this app and you can go on the app and you can book for tomorrow. And I definitely could be able to get you in. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, man, bro, you can't just cut my hair, bro. I'm like, bro, I mean, we are appointment only. And so we're not able to even take walk-ins like that. You had an appointment with him? He was like, yeah, I mean, but I was late. Oh, okay. But yeah, I understand, man. Dude just turned around and just walked out. He just turned around and walked out. And this is an issue that we see on a consistent basis. The issue of emotional intelligence, we have to deal with that, and we have to get our young men on board with this, because this is the reason why you get men in situations, they either gonna run. It's either the fight or flight situation. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna put my hands on you, or else I'm just gonna turn and run because I don't have the emotional intelligence to deal with this situation. And that right there causes so much drama. But this is a reality. And so this is what happened here. He overheard the conversation. So instead of him saying, hold on, wait, fellas. This not cool. I mean, why is this? And then Akeem could have turned and been like, hey, look, bro, it's not like this. I mean, it's kind of like this, but it's not like this. You my son, I love you. I really want this to happen. Woo-de-woo. Nah, but he couldn't. That didn't happen. So he just, come on, mama, let's go. They doing me wrong. Let's go, mama. And he jumped off, took the girl, and they bounced. Took the Royal Jet. Okay. On the heels of her coming in extremely intoxicated. We finna go there again. So on the heels of her coming in intoxicated, which the baby mama got her intoxicated, she come in and he's trying to vent on the fact that I cannot believe that this woman have come here, caused all this confusion, and she have taken the Royal Jet. That BITCH, all right, he said it, right? And then talks about his son. My son, he's just blah, blah, blah. He's so spineless. He's not even worthy of being a Jafar. He's spineless. And then his wife said, like father, like son. Mm-hmm. Ooh, gut punch. Boom, that's below the belt. I believe that husbands and wives should have, I call it heated fellowship. But in the process of fighting, I believe in the concept of fighting fair. So when fighting fair, you can't go below the belt. You cannot go below the belt. That statement that she made, like father, like son, that's below the belt. Boom! Gut punch. Okay, so first thing first, she says that he looked and he's like, you intoxicated right now, you know. And she say, uppity B say what? She called him BITCH. Uh-huh. Boom! Below the belt. So you and your son got spineless. I called you a BITCH. Okay. So he said, listen, wait. You're in and out of my pocket right now. Are you trying to say I'm out of pocket? Is that what you're trying to say? He's like, hold on. No, this is what she wore him out. And then he said,
that she was drunk.
Huh?
As you pointed out, she was drunk.
Absolutely. So while she weighing him out, he say, listen, she just talking just that. He said, watch your tongue. Watch my tongue? Watch my nigga. She let him have it again. And she said, I get it. You the king. You the king. Okay. Well, I tell you what. Since you the king, you know that there's a whole lot of beds in this castle. So she opened that door. And look what's happening when she opened the door. The guards, they watching. They watching. And she say, it's a whole lot of beds in this castle. I suggest you go find one. He said, are you putting me out of my own room? Have you gone mad? She said, you can do it look like I'm hopping on one leg and barking like a dog. And she made the motion. Ow! And whenever he walked out, the guards looking at him like, bro, you look. He, there's several things here. I believe that it is not right for you to embarrass your spouse. I believe you're not to hit below the belt. Well, I don't care if you're drunk, whatever. You don't hit below the belt when you're fighting. You don't embarrass your spouse, especially in front of other people. That's a big no. And definitely, she put him out of his room. Now, y'all brought the scriptures up last time. You know what I'm saying?
We're not doing that.
Okay. I wasn't. I was just saying. I was just making mention. Y'all brought the scriptures up last time, but we're not finna do that. But when it comes to relationships, this is all too common. When we fight, we hit below the belt. We disrespect each other. We say things that we definitely shouldn't say. We embarrass each other. Because things like this happen, and folks do this in front of other people. I've watched that all my life. I've seen it all my life. All my life. And then she put him out the room.
And this is why the divorce rate is so high. I know when my husband and I first got together, we made those rules. Like, there will be no you cursing at me when you're upset. There will not even be you yelling at me when you're upset, because I can't take that. For me personally, I never liked to hear my grandfather yell. It always put something through me. I could never deal with that. So I know if you're yelling at me, it's going to take me somewhere I don't want to be. And definitely cursing is just off the board anyway. And we're not big cursers anyway, but never let a curse word come out. I don't care if you say, damn it, I don't even want to hear that, because it's just, those are rules that were from the beginning up until now, and it still works today. You got to put these, people just want to get married just to get married, and then they don't have the respect. Or if you know something about a family member, you don't throw that up. No matter how bad it is, you can't just throw that. Well, you can't do that. And so he knows now, it's very rare. But when I feel that he's yelling, I'll be like, you're yelling. And I will walk out the room and wait until he's calm. Are you ready to talk to me now? Like, you can talk to me,
Absolutely.
because I will not do that. And for another thing, my grandparents, you never saw them fight. My grandmother never wanted to argue in front of the kids. Today, I think the kids see way too much. And people will say, oh, that's the reality. They got to see you argue, but let them see you fight fair. If you're going to argue, at least argue fairly, not below the belt.
Absolutely.
So that was just another tip, guys. This is Twinness, Tisha, Tanika, and our guest, LP. Go ahead, LP. Tanika, you have anything to say?
I have a different take.
Okay. Here we go, opposites.
Yeah, we're opposite. My thing is that the woman, she might have been drunk, but drunk tongues speak truth. And she was already fed up with the whole situation, not seen the movie. She was fed up. You brought this boy here. I'm just finding out. It doesn't matter if she might have needed the drunkenness to be her sedative. I'm not promoting drinking, but I'm just saying that she had enough already with the baby mama, with him holding secrets. So I can understand her anger and frustration. Now, the hitting below the belt, I understand what you both are saying on that, but I just feel like her frustration with the situation, and she meant what she said, even though it might not have come off right to some, but that's how she felt, and that's how she feel. You spineless and weak, your son's spineless and weak, your father was spineless and weak for telling you to keep it a secret or whatever.
Spineless and weak.
So,
Can you hear me?
You freezing. Okay, go ahead. Say it one more time. Just stay still. Don't move.
It's generational
Yeah. Yeah, I hear
spinelessness.
the
Yeah.
spinelessness. So she meant what she said, even though she might have been drunk, but that's how she felt, and those emotions just came out.
Right. I can go with that. What you're saying. Um, and then at the same time, we have to look at this reality. All right. Now, this is an issue that I touch on a lot, and a very sensitive issue, but it's a real issue, right? Now, in this particular moment, she is addressing, all of her anger for his negligence, so to speak, in different areas and stuff like that. And there's this thing, and I'm comparing this situation to real life. There's this thing where a lot of sisters, a lot of women, a lot of wives are challenging men on their manhood and telling them, "You're not being a real man. You need to man up. You need to be a real man." But at the same time, there's this question that's not being asked, and there's this statement that's not being addressed. Okay, sister, you can tell me that I need to be a real man and what a real man looks like. But my question for you, are you being a real woman? And what is a real woman? And who told you what a real woman was? And what does a real woman look like? See, now let's take it back to the movie. Where was her mother?
Was I think her mother died in the first movie.
Right. She didn't have one.
Right.
Right. And so as a result, a lot of times when you have sisters who either they don't have a mother figure or their mother figure was toxic, she never learned how to be a quote unquote real woman. And so this is a thing where there's this pressure that a woman who has never been trained on what a real woman looks like and how a real woman functions, but she has the ability to turn and say what a real man is and what a real man is not, and what a real man, when a man need to be a man, and this, that, and the other. You see what I'm saying? There's a very unbalanced thing in that regard that has.
I don't know about that, LP. I'm gonna say two things. One, because men will say to women, you need to be a real woman. So women might say it to men, but men say it to women as well. So it goes both ways. And for me,
I personally have never heard a man ask a woman that, tell a woman that.
Yes.
They say it. They say it. They tell a woman that you're not a real woman. You're not like my mother. My mother would do this, that, and the other. But your wife is not your mother. So
I personally never heard that before.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
absolutely. It does happen. But my thing is, when two get married, like Tisha and I are totally different. Tisha cooks. I'm not big on cooking. Tisha is a thorough cleaner. Is clean. So her and my mother would say, you're always in the same house, but I clean when I'm good and ready and I have to be in the mood and I'm right. And Tisha just clean just because for fun,
Every
so
day.
we're different, and I think women as a whole are different, men as a whole are different. There's men that get down and dirty. Like I've had so many repairs done to my house. And then there's other men that's computer guys or book guys that's not going to get dirty at all. So I think when people marry or get together or whatever it is, you find what fits for you and your household, your family. It might not be my man might not look like what your man looks like.
Right.
My womanhood might not look like what your womanhood look like, because our circumstances are different. We're different people. I'm a book girl. I'm like in the books or whatever. I'm with my daughter, so my life is totally different than what Tisha's life is. So I don't think that either gender should say what constitutes a man or a woman. As long
Absolutely.
as y'all are working together,
Absolutely.
you know.
That- absolutely.
And you touched on the point that the richest woman in the world, she's in Africa and her husband is still by her side. So it's not even about a money thing because she
Absolutely.
still respects her husband as her husband, even though she has the money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ab-
And there's quite a few celebrities that have the money and their spouses don't. And I'm talking about role reversal. Quite a few women who has the money and don't. Let's take Dolly Parton, for instance. Her husband likes to be behind the scenes. You won't hear nothing from him. Serena Williams, he has his own money, yes, but he's not trying to be on her spotlight. So there's quite a few men that will take the background and they still respect their husbands. Angela Bassett and her husband, they've been married forever. Of course, they both have their money in their own right, but she still respects him, And Tina Turner and her mate, he stands in the sideline. So yes, there's plenty of women, but they still respect their husbands or men as their husbands or men.
And
let me
since you brought that up, go ahead, LP.
let me say this, and I have to give shouts out to my aunt Rosa Jackson. If anybody is into Mary Kay Cosmetics, um, do your research on a sister by the name of Rosa Jackson. Okay, Rosa Jackson was my aunt. She just recently died. She was my aunt. My aunt Rose was driving the pink Cadillac in the 70s, right? I'm talking about like she was up there with the Mary Kay, like Mary Kay, her. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
she was a big deal, and she just recently passed. I didn't know my aunt was such a big deal until I got to the funeral. Like
Wow.
Nice.
I'm at the funeral, and I'm talking about the top tier people in the Mary Kay organization
Nice.
was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? She lived in Houston, Texas. And the city of Houston, the representatives of the city of Houston was at the funeral. Like, my aunt was like a big deal. Now watch this. My uncle was he still is. He's a CME preacher, right? Small church, this, that, and the other. And this is the direction that he wanted to go in. And she was like, look, God told you to be a preacher. You be a preacher. I'm about to do this. And now watch this. Here's the deal. This is the reason why I didn't know my aunt was who she was. Because she, like she's a multimillionaire, right? With Mary Kay. But she was a domestic mother and wife.
Mhm.
Like she served my uncle. You know what I'm saying? She loved on that man, and she told the whole world that my uncle was the best thing since sliced bread by her actions. And she's the multimillionaire known all over the world, right? And so she was the example of a woman like that. That was a woman. My auntie was the truth. You understand? But anyway, saying all that to say, the reason why I was applauding what Nikki said was because, like, we have to stop we have to stop the comparison thing. You get what I'm saying? You don't look at your woman and say, well, my mama, she used to do woo woo, or such and such wife, she do such and such. You know what I'm saying? Or and ladies, well, such and such husband. Man, listen, that is the last thing you do is compare your spouse to someone else. That is the last thing. Do not ever. And see, this is the reason why a lot of preachers get so much hate from men, because a lot of sisters will go to church and you looking at pastor in his glory, right? While he's up there and he's on fire, and you know what I'm saying? But you don't know, he go home, he leave his socks on the side of the bed. He don't like, you know what I'm saying? He don't like a babe, but whatever the case, he got issues, right?
Yes.
This brother got issues.
Mhm.
However, but you just see, and so you go home, you jumping up and down. Oh, Pastor,
Yes.
my Pastor, Pastor on fire.
Yes.
And you shouting for him and all that,
Mhm.
and then you come home. Well, Pastor said, but
Mhm.
you need to be more like Pastor.
Yes.
Pastor,
Yeah.
he when he do his, he tell his wife, and Pastor got he bought his wife a new car. No, you
Mhm.
can't do that.
Mhm.
You cannot do that. Is a big no-no.
Yeah.
And a lot of women do that. They
Mhm.
get up, you jumping up and you shouting for him. But when you at home, you ain't jumping up shouting for him, for your husband.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a problem. And that causes a lot of men to hate preachers.
Mhm.
You know.
All right.
So
I want
this
to.
whole, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this whole comparison thing is not, and this is in alignment with this particular clip that we're looking at because
And
of the issue of fighting fair. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to go back to something that you said in a previous slide. So we're talking about women that may have a little bit more than their husbands, and you said that the young man, the prince, felt like he couldn't level up, so he had to stay on his level. And I think sometimes when men don't have what the woman may have, they do feel that they are intimidated by that woman, and the emotional intelligence is not there, and they're out.
Absolutely.
And that makes it hard when the woman is like, no, we can still be together and make it work, but because you cannot go to that level or you feel insecure as the man, that's a problem.
Absolutely. I mean, I can attest to that. That was my
Mhm.
personal experience with my wife.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? When I
Mhm.
met my wife, you know what I'm saying? My wife she was a part of a particular company. She was the second most productive woman in the state of Alabama. She was an area coordinator for the city of Tuscaloosa with this particular company. My wife, she was a top shelf chick, you know what I'm saying, in the organization she was dealing with. And I can remember, she linked up with me and, and brought me into her world. And I'm talking about, I'm looking so insignificant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all these dudes with these 6-figure dudes with tailor-made suits and stuff like that. And I couldn't even get my pants and my jacket to match. You know what I'm saying? And they looking at me looking at her like, this the dude you want?
Right.
Like this dude, this who you dealing with? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt very insignificant. And I even went to a lot of, you know what I'm saying, people like dudes that I knew, like, bro, man, this chick, she woo, man, I'm just they like, man, look, bro, look, you know what I'm saying? You somebody too, bro. I mean, you ain't reached where you going, but you gonna get there, bro. You know what I'm saying? So don't let that make you cower out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, you right, bro. You right. So that's why I continue to pursue my wife. You understand what I'm saying? And so, I came into my own right. I came into who I am. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. And we building together. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I never put myself in a situation where I felt inferior to my wife. All I had, what I constantly was setting out to do was level up.
Working together.
No doubt.
Working together.
So all them books and stuff that she gave me, I read all them books, all that stuff, all that material that I had. I got all that material and I took it and I ingested it and I learned it better than she knew it. How about that?
All right. Let's get back into this movie. We've been on for 1 hour.
No doubt. Okay, so she puts him out. And we did, and I asked the question the last time. I said, now, with her, she whooped him verbally. She put him out. I asked the question. I said she was wrong. Everybody agree? She was wrong for that? Do y'all agree she was wrong for that? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've never
Like
put
I
my
said.
husband out of the bedroom. So for me, that would be a wrong move. We've never slept in different bedrooms.
And for me, she might opposites as the twins. We are opposite. For me, she's just frustrated, tired, just maybe need a moment to just get herself together.
Okay. So, all right. So next question from the next slide. Would he be wrong if he would have went and took a bath?
Here we go again with the bath. this wasn't that issue though. This wasn't that issue. This wasn't a sex issue. This was a
Lack of respect
right.
issue.
I see. I wasn't even dealing with the issue of sex in this regard. I'm just saying, you know, in this, he was totally emasculated. I'm talking about his whole manhood was just stripped from him, right? But in a situation like that, if a man is not feeling like a man, like you done took this from me, you done just took this from me. And a man
I don't know
goes,
if that would be that solution. I don't know if that would be the solution because it's a temporary moment.
I don't
It's
believe
this
it's
is
right.
gonna pass.
I don't believe it's right. I believe it's wrong for him to go
Mhm.
and take a bath.
Right.
I
I'm
believe
saying
it's
'cause
wrong.
it's temporary. They're gonna get over it eventually. So don't go down that road.
I agree with you.
Mhm.
I'm only dealing with the
I understand what you're
ideology
saying.
of
Mhm.
how people
Mhm.
function.
Mhm.
Is it right? No.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I'm dealing with how people function.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with it for him to go and do this.
Mhm.
I don't agree with it. Right?
Mhm. But you can
Say-
understand the logic behind it. I got it.
I'm only dealing with the logic behind it. Whenever
Mhm.
when I'm having conversations with guys, and you know what I'm saying, the girl, the woman, then just then cussed him out. She then doorbelled him all in his head, called him all kind of f niggas, and you know what I'm saying, woo woo, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying, and he didn't just to keep from punching her in her face. He didn't. I'm about to leave. I'm like, bro, where you going? You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm finna go on by. So I said, no, bro, do you believe is that the answer? Man, it's just, you know what I'm saying? I go over here, she gonna make me feel like a man. She gonna tell me I'm that nigga. And woo. Nah, bro, that's not the answer, bro. So I'm just saying, in that situation of him going through what he went through, right? In which I believe for her to put him out of his own room and just strip him of his manhood, emasculation. You understand? Human behavior is I'm gonna go where I'm accepted. Do I agree with it? No. Same way I don't agree with her putting him out of his room. It's the
All right.
same thing.
Next
It
slide.
she said you need to move. Okay. Now this right here is what I want to deal with. All right. This is the scene from part 1. Whenever the king came and like, hey, look, I'm coming to get Akeem, and he's going back to Zamunda, and he's gonna marry this woman that, that he's supposed to be married. He's not finna be here in America playing and dealing with this American woman. Like, no, this is against the law. It's not finna happen. It's done. And the wife is upset. She's upset. She's angry, and she don't agree with anything that the king is doing. And she addressed it. I'm gonna address it. She ain't raise her voice at him. She ain't grab, see, that's what I'm talking about. You nigga, you woo woo. She ain't do none of that. You wanna know what she did? She reminded him this change that she wanted done for her son. She basically let him know, listen, this change that could be made, you can make it because you the king.
Stroking the ego.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, LP.
Who said that? Which one of y'all said? Who said that?
That would be
That
Tisha.
was Tisha.
You get the bell. Ding 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 ding.
Listen, ladies. The divine feminine is all about influence. See, men rule by position. Women rule by influence. Men rule by position. Women rule by influence. Yes, Adam, you the top dog of all humanity. But in my influence, Adam, come on, eat this fruit. I know you want it.
Mm-hmm. LP, come read these books.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm dealing with all
Yes.
aspects of it. I'm dealing
Yes.
with, because one thing about influence, it can be used for good and it can be used for bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dangerous. When you see these young dudes, you know, they caught he dead in the hotel room. Why is he dead? Because this woman had influenced him,
Yes.
got him up there, and you know, and they done robbed him, and 10 dudes then busted in the room and shot him and killed him and took everything he had. It was all off that influence. So what I'm saying is the influence can be used for good and it can be used for bad. And look at what the queen used her influence. I mean, that's how she did. I mean, she ain't argued with him. She ain't fussed with him. She ain't called him no F nigga. She ain't do none of that.
I'm going to touch on that real quick. So back in the day, mothers would teach their daughters things like that, how to use the influence for good. Even our mother would say, my grandmother would say, you know, sometimes you got to just let the man think he thought of it. You know,
absolutely.
You just, you know,
absolutely.
You present it and just say, yeah, you did good with that. You did good with that. But today, you know, it's like, no, I did it. It's my idea. It's my thought. It's my whatever. And I think that the women today are different because there is no real guidance or teaching when it comes to that, your feminine wiles and how to use them. I don't think that the girls really know how. I think it's just one way, which is the sex trap way, instead of the intellectual talking and smoothing things out. It's always the rah, 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 you got to hear me, instead of trying to talk it out and smooth it over. That's just my opinion.
Give it up for one more time.
So, I mean, we just don't have that.
Thank you guys for watching the Twinness. We've been on for over an hour. We are comparing real life and the movie and giving business tips and personal tips and marriage tips and single. We're just giving tips all over the place. So, you know, if you haven't caught it from the beginning, you might want to watch from the beginning as well as part one, because agree or not, LP has his views and some of them are very good. And we have our views, and some of them you may agree with, some of them you may not. My sister and I, we're totally opposite, and you'll hear that if you rewatch this or if you watch the first one. Go ahead, LP.
No doubt, no doubt. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. You know, with the divine feminine, things got changed. You know what I'm saying? That whole law. I'm talking about the king heard mama say that. She said, oh, wait a minute, I am the king. Oh, so I can change things. Well, I am the king. Yeah, I'm the king. Yeah. Let me change this law. Let me change this law. So next thing you know it, the American woman is married to a king because the king changed the law. And it was changed not simply because of his hierarchy. It was because of the influence of the divine feminine. Oh my God. Sisters just understood this. Wow. They would change the world. Okay. All right. Next slide. Cleo McDowell. The king was feeling down. He was feeling down. He went into McDowell's and he needed a talk, a pep talk from Cleo McDowell, the dude that was pimping his daughter out to the man with the Jerry curl because he had some money. And then when he found out that Akeem was a prince, he's a prince. Our little goat herder makes Daryl look like a welfare case. You did it, baby. You hit the jackpot. You remember whenever he tried to make his daughter be engaged to Daryl?
Yes, I remember.
Yes, this is the guy. This guy. But Keem goes to him for some advice, and Keem, you know, I understand you got a lot going on right now. You got General Izzy down your throat. Same way with me. I got McDonald's up always cease and desist letters and all type of. But the McDowell's McFlurry is not like the McDonald's McFlurry. In the McFlurry, they put the topping on the top. With the McFlurry, we put the topping on the bottom. I mean, it's just the whole time. He's just like, come on, bro. Like, Jesus. This goes back to an unfortunate reality.
Nikki, did you know that they actually made a McDowell's in Queens?
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they did. It's going now, but it was a promotional thing, and they really were serving burgers and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, as a homage,
a tribute. Yeah.
That's cool. So why did I bring up this part? This part goes to Jesus. This is an unfortunate reality. I'm grateful for a lot of the male mentors that I have. A lot of the older men who are great men, who got great wisdom, who are, that when I listen to them, but there's an overwhelming amount of older men, bro, that they just burn me up because I'm listening to them like, bro, come on, man. You've been here for a long time, dude. You need to give me some wisdom, bro. Like, come on, man. This foolery you got for me. You see what I'm saying? So this is anyway, this part did for me. But he made a statement, and this statement was an absolute truth. He said, Akeem, what would your mother do in this situation? Come on now, we're going back to that divine feminine. What would your mother do in this situation? Because I always thought that your mother was the wisest Jafar. That woman, everything that came out of her mouth, go back and watch that movie. Everything that came out of her mouth was wisdom. Everything. You remember whenever he was talking to him?
No.
What's up?
Oh, sorry, not you. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay. Remember she was talking to Akeem? Like, everything was, her tone always was warm and smooth. And everything, everything that came out of her mouth was wisdom. This was the reality of what Akeem had access to when it came to the woman in his life. The divine feminine that was his life, which was his mother. And because of the divine feminine that she had, things were changed in order for him to marry the woman that he wanted to marry. Wow. Next slide. Okay. Here we go. Next time we see Simi. Simi busts in, because the General Izzy was upset that the son had left and everything, and they wasn't able to have the wedding, and so Akeem's daughter was beating the brakes off of everybody, right? I'm talking about, because remember, she'd been practicing. Her work ethic was off the chain. I love the fact that Akeem's daughter work ethic was off the chain. She was always training. She was always studying. She was always reading. She was preparing herself. And so when General Izzy came in and he tried to fight, man, she was beating the brakes off of them boys. But then they grabbed the halter. They was able to outnumber, and they grabbed her. Simi bus in. Freeze, hold on, what he said? You sweat from a baboon's balls. Like he real tough, right? And he go in and he get the fight, and then he get they ran the skates up under him, just put him on his back. They didn't put him on his back, and then the females had to come in and save his life. You know what I'm saying? So same way he had, the females had to come save his life, right? And then his image was just totally oh my God, as I said, all of the men, they were totally emasculated, castrated, constantly, scene after scene after scene, right? And so, they was able to hold on, what's my next slide? Hold on, my slide. I didn't put that slide in. The last the last slide that I had, I don't know what happened or whatever. Was well, let me share the rest of the story since Nikki didn't see the movie. So Akeem's daughter saved the day, you know what I'm saying? And boom, it was they came to an agreement, this, that, and the other. General Izzy and Zamunda, they came to an agreement on doing, some things or whatever. And the girl that the son wanted to get married to, he then took her back to Queens to marry her in Queens. But my question is, bro, let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Come on back in here. So here's my issue with that the way that played out. So they steal the jet, they go back to Queens, right? So he's about to marry this girl. All right. Question. After you marry this girl, where are y'all gonna go? Because remember, you 33, you live 31, and you live with your mom. Where you going? Number 2, you don't have a job. So you're going to take this woman from royalty, where she got everything she need and she's well taken care of, and you finna take her to Queens. You finna marry her. You ain't got no job and you ain't got nowhere to stay. This goes back to an issue that we see on a consistent basis, right? Now, that girl, while they was about to get married, that's when Akeem bust in, because he came back. He bust in. He was like, hey, you know what I'm saying, son, you know what I'm saying, you don't got to do this, woo, woo. And then he was like, Dad, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. But then the little girl turned to him and was like, hey, man, if we going to do this, we going to go back to Zamunda, bro. I'm not finna do this, fam. You know what I'm saying? And again, this, and then they was like, okay, well, if we gonna go back to Zamunda, we gonna take Queens with us to Zamunda. So everybody that came back to Zamunda, the sexual chocolate, the preacher, you know what I'm saying? The Uncle Remus and all his drinking buddies and all this, they come back to Zamunda and they got this big party going on where Sexual Chocolate is on stage singing with the preacher. The preacher come out preaching, and, I love the Lord. And, he's doing all that. And, you know what I'm saying? And so it shows this whole fiasco of the dysfunction that we have over here in America, in our African American community. We took that to Zamunda with us. And that right there is I gotta say it. Okay. This is a reason why whenever we talk to a lot of our African brothers and sisters, they will tell, like, if you get in good with them, they will tell you, like, look, bro, y'all culture, y'all got here is horrible.
Yes.
And we don't want y'all to take that, bring that to us now. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of that toxicity that we have with our culture, a lot of people in Africa are adopting these things.
Yes. And that's not just Africa, that's all nations.
Like people all over
China.
The world.
Yeah. I'm not just Black people. I'm just saying in general, other countries can't even deal with us, Go ahead, I'm listening.
No. I was just saying I know people from all over the world like the good aspects of our culture. Of course, right. They dance, sing, the way we rap, all that. They like that. But I'm talking about the toxic aspect of our culture. I'm talking about that aspect. If you look at in Africa, a lot of the African women are trying to adopt the toxic aspects of our culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, a lot of African men, you know, a lot of African people like, look, bro, y'all, we don't like that. But with this movie show was, yeah, come on, bring that to Africa. Bring that toxic stuff y'all got going on. You know what I'm saying? And they like dancing and singing this and the other. And then at the end, this is the, now you remember I said one of the most manliest men, a man's man that we saw in the movie was General Izzy, right? At the end of the movie, General Izzy had a skirt on. And he was dancing with his skirt on.
I don't know about that one.
I'm just saying.
I got you.
I'm dealing with the aspect of how in theater, in movies, and in whenever we look at certain media, there's this constant thing of taking manly men and emasculating them by putting them in those types of situations.
And we've had that conversation because I agree with you on that one, because you see that a lot with men with skirts and dresses, mainly Black men having to wear dresses in Hollywood. Aside from that,
that's to attack our psyche. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to, watch this. This even attacks the psyche of women by observing that, right? On a consistent basis. It goes back to, and I'm gonna talk about the Willie Lynch letter, whether you know, of course, okay, we've learned that the Willie Lynch letter was created, you know what I'm saying, you know, by somebody else, that it wasn't real, but the principal aspect of it was 100% real. And in that particular aspect, it says that when the woman, when she see her man destroyed, it throws her into a psychologically independent state to where she no longer depends on her man. And she trains her daughters to be psychologically independent like her. And train her boys to be mentally weak but physically strong. This is an aspect of what happens when the woman sees the man emasculated or castrated. When she see this,
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So this is, with these different images that we see, this is eating away at the psyche of our people. You know
Absolutely. I agree with that. I agree. Even when a famous celebrity's son was wearing skirts and dresses. I don't know, y'all could read between the lines on that.
Absolutely.
And made the statement that they wish they could cut their stuff off, you know, so that it wouldn't be male gender roles, you know, and that was recent. So it causes a lot of confusion and things like that. Even department stores were starting to go with just blending everything together, like girl and boy clothes just mixed together, because you could wear whatever you want to wear. You know, there's no real specific gender. And I'm not against any transgender. I'm not against the LGBTQ community at all. I'm just saying that in these incidences, we see a lot, and it's really feeding into our community, and it's a different world for our kids. Because now, before, back in the day, we could look at a man's Adam's apple and say, okay, that's a man. But today, we don't even have Adam's apples anymore. You know, you don't have them. So, you know, I guess, you know, that's one of Darwin's things, you know, with the sciences. If you're not using it, you know, you lose it. And we don't see those big knots anymore that we used to see back in the day.
That's true.
I wonder why.
Talk to us. Why?
I don't know. I just said I wonder.
Oh, okay. I thought you could put us on game. I'm ready to learn.
Yeah.
So that's the conclusion of
all right, guys,
my
this
presentation.
Was it a presentation?
Hold on, sister, you froze up on me.
You freezing and breaking up. You freezing and breaking up. But this is the Twinness. This is Tanika Gillard. That's Tisha McDonald, and we have LP with us, breaking down Coming to America 2. This was part 2 of this series. So if y'all didn't catch part one, go ahead and catch the replay. It's on YouTube. It's on our Facebook Twinness page. And we share it, throughout. So catch that, LP. Enjoy the rest of your spring break with your
I
family.
appreciate it. Thank y'all so very much. I really
Thank
enjoy
you.
hanging out with y'all. And I appreciate the opportunity to hang out with y'all, to have this discussion and talk about these hard subjects. Whether we agree
Hard
or
subjects.
disagree. But you know what I'm saying? I what we did agree on, I thank you.
Mm-hmm. And it was an easy disagreement. It wasn't
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's all love. Y'all be blessed, ladies. Hold it down.
Okay. See you soon.
All right now.
Good night, everybody. Catch us on Sunday. We will be here 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on Sunday.